Well, hello. Welcome to my daily video. I'm actually sitting in my car and you can't see me because my phone just fell. Anyway, I just got this new magnetic thing to keep my phone on, and it works just as well as you would think it would work. Obviously, I'm actually waiting to go through the drive-thru at Chipotle to get my food. I had it ordered, and anyway, I got here a little early, so I thought I would go ahead and do one of my videos. So let's start with a prayer from this book. And so our prayer today is, it's called Blessing for Returning to Joyous Spaces. Bless the dance floors and the coffee shops, patios, karaoke stages, arenas, bowling alleys, barber shops and salons, gyms, bars and wineries, arcades, theaters, malls, and males, and markets, and art galleries and amusement parks, and bless our grieving hearts as we mourn the places we've loved that won't reopen. Bless our restless hearts as we resist the temptation to gather before it's safe. Bless our restless hearts as we resist the temptation to gather before it's safe. Repeated for emphasis. Bless our fearful hearts as service workers among us provide joy at the risk of exposure. Bless our grateful hearts as we cling to the sounds and the smells and the colors and the textures and the sacred memories of the places we love as we gather again. So let's pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Oh, joyous spaces. Amusement parks are not a joyous space for me. But what about you? I wonder what your joyous spaces are. For me, oh my gosh, I really miss movie theaters. There is something about going to a movie, getting popcorn, a big bucket of popcorn, paying extra for the extra, supersize it, because they're like, oh, it's only 25 cents more. And then you get a big old pop. It's so healthy. But there's just something about going to the movies and the reclining seats and just being with friends. That's a happy place for me. And I really miss movie theaters. I really miss church. I know we're still having church. Our church is still very much open, but I really, really miss face-to-face. I miss the feeling it was when I would come up the stairs on a Sunday morning and know I would be greeted by a bunch of people. And I would go into our welcoming area, which is called our narthex, and I would shake hands with people. I would give hugs to people. I would see how everyone's doing. And I miss that. That's a joyous space for me. There's just a lot of things I miss, I guess. I miss being able to go into a restaurant and not feel like you're risking your life to eat. Janelle and I went and ate at a Mexican restaurant a couple days ago, and we felt pretty safe. There wasn't that many people there. But it's still a weird feeling, I miss what life used to be before all this. And I know things are probably going to be permanently changed, I would think, after all this is over. And that's probably a good thing. But I don't know. Things are just different. So anyway, let's get into Hunger Games, shall we? All right. I'm excited to hear what's happening with Katniss and Peeta. All right. The sky lights up with the seal, and I watch Foxface shine in the sky and then disappear from the world forever. He hasn't said it, but I don't think Peeta felt good about killing her, even if it was essential. I can't pretend I'll miss her, but I have to admire her. My guess is if they had given us some sort of test, she would have been the smartest of all the tributes. And if, in fact, we had been setting a trap for her, I bet she'd have sensed it and avoided the berries. It was Peeta's own ignorance that brought her down. I've spent so much time making sure I don't underestimate my opponents, and I've forgotten it's just as dangerous to overestimate them as well. That brings me back to Kato, but while I think I had a sense of Foxface, who was now and who she was and how she operated, he's a little more slippery. Powerful, well-trained, but smart? I don't know. Not like she was, and utterly lacking in the control Foxface demonstrated. I believe Kato could easily lose his judgment in a fit of temper. Not that I can feel superior on that point. I think of the moment I sent the arrow flying into the apple in the pig's mouth when I was so enraged. Maybe I do understand Kato better than I think. Despite the fatigue in my body, my mind's alert, so I let Peeta sleep long past our usual switch. In fact, a soft gray day has begun when I shake his shoulder. He looks out, almost in alarm. I slept the whole night. That's not fair, Katniss. You should have woken me. I stretch and burrow down into the bag. I'll sleep now. Wake me if anything interesting happens. Apparently nothing does, because when I open my eyes, bright hot afternoon light gleams through the rocks. Any sign of our friend? Peeta shakes his head. No, he's keeping a disturbingly low profile. How long do you think we'll have before the game makers drive us together? Well, Foxface died almost a day ago, so there's been plenty of time for the audience to place bets and get bored. I guess it could happen at any moment. Yeah, I have a feeling today's the day. I sit up and look out the peaceful terrain. I wonder how they'll do it. Peeta remains silent. There's not really any good answer. Well, until they do, no sense in wasting a hunting day. But we should probably eat as much as we can hold just in case we run into trouble. So Peeta packs up our gear while I lay out a big meal. The rest of the rabbits, roots, greens, the rolls spread with the last bit of cheese. The only thing I leave in reserve is the squirrel and the apple. By the time we're done, all that's left is a pile of rabbit bones. My hands are greasy, which only adds to my growing feeling of grubbiness. Maybe we don't bathe daily in the seam, but we keep cleaner than I have of late, except for my feet, which have walked in the stream. I'm covered in a layer of grime. Leaving the cave has a sense of finality about it. I don't think there will be another night in the arena somehow. One way or the other, dead or alive, I have the feeling I'll escape it today. I give the rocks a pat goodbye and we head down to the stream to wash up. I can feel my skin itching for the cool water. I may do my hair and braid it back wet. I'm wondering if we might even be able to give our clothes a quick scrub when we reach the stream. Or what used to be the stream. Now there's only a bone-dry bed. I put my hand down to feel it, not even a little damp. They must have drained it while we slept, I say. A fear of the cracked tongue, aching body, and fuzzy mind brought on by my previous dehydration creeps into my consciousness. Our bottles and skin are fairly full, but with 2 drinking and this hot sun, it won't take long to deplete them. The lake, that's where they want us. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, guys. Wow. Whoa, that was my hand. A really close up of my hand. Anyway, the lake, that's where they want us to go. Maybe the ponds still have some. I say hopefully. We can check, Peeta said, but he's just humoring me. I'm humoring myself because I don't know what I'll find when we return to the pond where I soaked my leg. A dusty, gaping mouth of a hole, but we make the trip anyway, just to confirm what we already know. You're right. They're driving us to the lake, I say, when there's no cover, when they're guaranteed a bloody fight to the death with nothing to block their view. Do you want to go straight away or wait until the water's tapped out? Let's go now while we've had food and rest. Let's just go end this thing. I nod. It's funny. I feel almost as if it's the first day of the games again. That I'm in the same position. 21 tributes are dead, but I still have yet to kill Kato. And really, wasn't he always the one to kill? Now it seems that the other tributes were just minor obstacles, distractions, keeping us from the real battle of the games. Kato and me. But no, there's the boy waiting beside me. I feel his arms wrap around me. 2 against 1. Should be a piece of cake. Next time we eat, it will be in the capital, I answer. You bet it will. We stand there a while, locked in an embrace, feeling each other, the sunlight, the rustle of the leaves at our feet. Then without a word, we break apart and head for the lake. I don't care now that Peeta's footfalls and rodents scurrying make the birds take wing. We have to fight Kato, and I just as soon do it here as on the plain. But I doubt I'll have that choice. If the game makers want us in the open, then in the open we will be. So let's continue tomorrow to hear what happens with Katniss and Peeta. Ever so excited. But anyway, I guess the cover that I bought, or the thing for my car, is not working as well as I thought it would. So yeah, there we go. I did buy it on Amazon, I will be honest. All right, so let's go ahead and listen to a little bit of John Pavlovitz, and we'll end for today, so I can go get my Chipotle. That almost rhymed. All right. So, John Pavlovitz, his blog for today is called The Christian Right Was Right. Ooh, that sounds interesting. I confess that I was dead wrong about this. I have to hand it to the Christian right. They knew what the heck they were talking about all this time. They knew this was going to happen and predicted it with astounding accuracy over and over again. For decades, they tried to tell us that the sky was falling, that devils were walking among us, that the end was so very nigh. For years and years, they lamented the approaching devastation and tried to prepare us like good prophets do. They pounded their pulpits with ferocity and thumped their Bibles with abandon, forecasting this country's certain doom, and we didn't listen. We rolled our eyes and dismissed them as out of touch, hypocritical, religious zealots whose hold on reality was tenuous at best, and yet they had it right all along. It turns out that every single one of their raw-throated, brimstone-breathing prophecies were true, that the wolves would come in sheep's clothing to devour the innocent, that there would be a twisting of the scriptures to justify vile evil of every kind, that people would do what was right in their own eyes and make themselves into the very God they most worship, that money and power and pride would be too seductive to avoid for far too many, that the church was in danger of being polluted to the point of death, that the least of these would be discarded and brutalized, that good people would be preyed upon by opportunistic monsters. These sage prognosticators had everything about the approaching disaster correct except its source. They neglected to predict the actual genesis of this great decimation, because it wouldn't be the gays or the Muslims or the atheists or celebrities or street people or tattooed women or sexually active teenagers as they so foretold. It wouldn't be transgender people lurking in bathrooms or brown-skinned suicide bombers from distant cave, or any of the countless boogeymen that they told us were hiding in the shadows to bring terror. No, the encroaching danger was a whole lot closer than all that. For years, the Christian right has been warning us about godless hordes coming to destroy America, and it turns out that this was true. It's just that the words were autobiographical. As a lifelong Christian, I've had a sick sense of deja vu watching politicians professing to be followers of Jesus, dismantling every program designed to care for the vulnerable and the hurting, seeing the way the powerful are being awarded greater power, watching empathy vanishing and hatred skyrocketing. I've heard this story a million times before, proclaimed on Sunday mornings from pulpits, unleashed in religious social media rants, and shouted through bullhorns on street corners. I knew this was coming, or at least I should have. We all should have. These harbingers of doom were absolutely right to warn us, and ironically, they were the very ones they were warning us about. In the sickest kind of self-fulfilling prophecy, they were the plague of these days that they said would come. It would be the preachers and the evangelists abandoning the heart of Jesus, perverting the words of the Bible for their agenda, selling their souls for a high place overlooking the world. They would be the very false prophets they told us that we should run like hell from. These supposed disciples of Jesus would be the ones to betray him with a kiss and send him to a bloody, undignified end. Yes, the Christian right was right. Evil was going to run amok through the world and terrorize the lives of ordinary people and make a mockery of God. And that is what it is surely doing these days. I owe them an apology. I should have believed them. I once was blind, and now I see. All right. All right. So, there we have it. Thank you, John Pavlovitz. So, I do hope everyone has a good day out there, and I hope you stay safe. It is currently raining, as you can see. There's Chipotle right there. Probably hard to see it in the rain. But, yeah, I'm just hanging out in the parking lot at Kroger, actually. So, getting ready to go get my food for the night. So, much love to all of you. Let's continue to hang in there as best as we can and hold on for dear life to each other. God bless you all.